Hello, everyone. I am Candace for the Lark Music Vlog. So we took a little hiatus over the summer and we are back and we're happy to be back. Or I should say I'm happy to be back. So this vlog is going to be geared more towards parents. So it's going to be a little longer, a little bit more in depth. And the subject of this vlog is why your kids aren't practicing. Yay! Or I don't know, maybe you're not cheering. So the reason, just a quick outline of why your kids aren't practicing. They're not motivated. The parents aren't involved enough or not enough involvement. They don't think they should practice. They're tired. And crappy instrument. So let's touch on the first thing. Your kid's not motivated. Obviously, they're not motivated because then they would be practicing. So the biggest motivator in a child's music lesson is not the teacher, believe it or not. It is the parent. When you sign your child up for lessons, you signed up for lessons too. So when your child is aware and understands that the parent is just as committed, that the parent is there, going to be there cheering them on in the good times and the bad times, and the parent is aware of what they should be doing when they practice, they're going to be more committed. They're going to start heading over to their instrument on their own. Not 100% of the time, but it's going to be a little less pulling teeth and just a little bit more prompting. So remember that, you're your kid's biggest motivator. Treats are great, video games are great, and they work, they help. But, speaking from personal experience, when my parents told me, hey, great job, I'm really proud of you, that was the biggest motivator for me to keep practicing. When I did bad and I maybe had a trouble with a piece or I didn't give a great performance, my parents' interaction with me during those times really changed the way that I approach practice. And, it didn't seem practice was a chore. I didn't want people to hear me making mistakes on the piano. And my parents really they were very good at understanding, like, hey, this is part of practicing and that's okay. We know that you're going to get better and we're looking forward to the end result. So we know you're working at it and we're proud of you. So keep it up. That was the biggest, most important motivator for me as a child taking music lessons. So the reasons, what was the other reasons? So parental involvement, that's what that leads to. Parental involvement is important. Like I said, my parents were checking in with the teacher. I didn't know when my parents were going to sit in on a music lesson, and I didn't know exactly what was being discussed all the time between my mom or my dad and my teacher, but I knew there was discussion, and I knew that my parents were keeping themselves educated enough to know what I should and shouldn't be doing. And it also made me understand, like, hey, they're taking this just as seriously as I'm supposed to be, and they're just as committed. So you know what? I'm all in. I'm going to practice and head over to piano. I didn't head over to the piano or whatever instrument I was playing at the time all by myself right away. It didn't happen overnight, but over time, it made a huge difference. And I did start heading over to my instrument by myself. And I actually started practicing so much that my parents had to actually ask me to stop so they could make a phone call, I don't know, have a normal conversation in the house and communicate, because I was always at my instrument. And, because of the way that they interacted with me and my teachers early on. So that parental involvement is key. The next reason, they don't think that they should practice. Well, duh. So it's not that kids are being obnoxious, and it's not that they're being arrogant. I don't think that. I mean, there are some. But I think it's really that they really don't think that they need to practice. I think music is sometimes approached, and private lessons are sometimes approached as something that doesn't require just as much commitment as any other extracurricular activity in school or outside of school. And it does. It requires the same amount of equipment as any sports that you signed up for, chess club, debate team. Music requires the same amount of commitment. And, letting your child know that when they sign up for music lessons will really help them understand, okay, just like I have to go to practice for sports, I need to go practice for my lesson. Okay, I need to practice my argument for debate. I need to practice for, this sonata or sonatina for music lessons. So letting them know that they do actually have to practice and encouraging them, and sometimes you might have to push them a little hard to practice, is necessary. FYI, if you have a child that is 10 years old or younger, 9 times out of 10, they're going to need prompting and encouragement 80% of the time. It's not that they hate it. They're under 10. They're younger. And, they're going to need supervision. They're not always going to sit at the piano for 15 or 20 minutes on their own. And you are going to have to be in the same room or be within earshot to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing. Just a little FYI. So parents, when your child signs up for lessons, you sign up for lessons. And you have to be just as committed as they are. So my other reason why your child is not practicing, they are tired. Kids have a lot on their plate. I am not surprised they're tired. I get tired just from hearing the schedules. It's amazing to me. So, after a long day of school, sports, extracurricular activities, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, and then parents are coming home from work, everyone's tired. Parents, you're tired. Kids are tired. Heck, your pets are tired. So I understand that, and most teachers get that. So my suggestion to offset that is, and it's going to sound a little crazy, is have your child practice in the morning before school. I know it's already too hard to get them up and out of the house on time, but it works. If you're able to deal with the trials and tribulations of getting them to the point, it will definitely pay off. Speaking from personal experience, once again, my parents had me get up early in the morning before school, and I would get in 30 to 45 minutes of practice. And it wasn't all smooth sailing in the beginning, but they kept at it, and to the point where I did start doing it on my own, and I got up on my own. And what actually happened, which I didn't want to admit at the time, but I had much better practice sessions. My quality of practice doubled. And that was because when you wake up in the morning, your brain is at the top of how it's going to process things. It's at the best processing time is in the morning. So if your child's getting up in the morning and they're practicing lessons and they're getting ready for their lesson that day, that week, when they hit school, they're going to focus better in school. They're going to do better on their tests. They're going to be happier because now they don't have the stress of going, oh, I didn't practice. I'm not prepared. I don't know what to do. And they're not unhappy. So I really highly suggest that. My other suggestion is maybe they shouldn't take music lessons at that time. If your child does not have not only the time, but the energy to put in to the commitment that's needed for music lessons, it may be, important to have a discussion with them and say, you know what, I think we're going to do lessons next month or next summer or next year. And that's okay, because now you haven't set up your child to be frustrated, stressed out, and upset, and end up hating an instrument that they otherwise would love. And, that's okay. So the other reason why your child isn't practicing is their instrument. So, instruments are expensive, and we all want our children to, have a great instrument to take lessons on. But let's face it, they're expensive, and sometimes it's hard to get one. This is something that definitely should be talked about and worked out before signing up for lessons. Not that you get the instrument before, but you should actually see, hey, are we going to be able to have a good quality piano for our child to practice on? Are we going to be able to get the piano or the guitar or whatever instrument it is? Maybe we can't get it in the first couple weeks of lessons. Maybe we can get it in a couple weeks after you start lessons. But if a child does not have a working instrument to practice on, It doesn't have to be a Stradivarius or top of the line. In fact, I really don't recommend it. But just a good enough instrument where they can get a good practice in, they're not going to want to practice. And they're not going to be motivated to step over to the instrument or pick up the instrument to do the practice. So just keep that in mind. If funds are tight, I suggest Googling and going to your local music store. There are programs and there are ways to get instruments, or contacting the teacher. Just because you haven't signed up for lessons with that teacher doesn't mean you can't contact them and say, hey, I really want my kid to take lessons, but how in the world do I afford this instrument for them to take lessons on? Totally fine. In fact, I recommend it. And most teachers are going to be happy to give you the information and happy to help you. Some teachers even rent out their own instruments and offer them to students at a very hefty discount when they sign up for lessons. So parents, just a quick recap here. You are your child's biggest motivator. Don't let anyone tell you differently. You are. And if you're not able to always be physically there in their music lessons, always have someone else that is there playing your part. It makes a difference. Your child's not going to tell you now, but they'll tell you later how much they appreciated it. That also covers the being involved part too. Letting your child know why they should practice is extremely important. You know, hey, the commitment that you have to give to all these other things is expected for music lessons. So let's make sure we can do that. Knowing that they're tired. Hey, if you're too tired, figure out how to make it work or figure out another time to start music lessons. I do not recommend signing up for music lessons knowing that your child does not have any time to practice. It's a detriment to the child, it's a disappointment to the teacher, and it's a waste of time and money that you could otherwise hold on to for a better musical experience. So, and also the instrument. So like I said, there's programs, contact a teacher that you're interested in. There's ways to get instruments, a good instrument for your child to take lessons on. So parents, I think that's about it as to why your child isn't practicing. I hope I've given you a little insight. I hope some of my suggestions are good. But, please ask more questions. Go to the Lark Music channel. If there's more questions that you have or concerns that you have, put them out there on the channel. I'll do my best to answer questions right on the site, or, I'll try to take care of the question in my next vlog. And I think that's it. So this is Candace for the Lark Music vlog. We're happy to be back, and I will see you next time.